Hey cats and kits, Captain Zorikh here. If you're watching this video, you might know me as the guy who runs the New York Knights Combat YouTube channel and produced the documentaries US Against the World and American Knights, and was on Big Giant Swords, and was also the first guy from New York City to fight in the World Championships in Medieval Armored Combat, first guy in a pro fight, built up everything that was in New York City before the New York Sentinels began, and yeah, so I've been around for a while. Now, I got the dirt, the ugly truth about the Great Schism of the ACL 2019. No, I don't really. But I am going to try to tell you as unopinionated a version of what happened as I possibly can, and also lay out the land and give you some hints as to what you should know and what you should try to do, because this, believe it or not, is a great opportunity for those of us in the sport of medieval armored combat, or as I like to call it, full contact medieval armored combat, or as other people call it, steel fighting. But truth is, I'm in my kitchen right now, and my roommate's trying to sleep next door, so I'm going to have to go find somewhere else where I can get this done. So I wanted to do this in front of some nice set with like a library in the background with books about medieval history and swordsmanship and all that good stuff, maybe some stuff about comic books, but and King Arthur and Shakespeare, but I didn't have time, so I'm doing it here in my local takeout Chinese place, and I'm trying to get that lens flare off of my face here. Okay, so this here is all about what's going on in the world of steel fighting, or as I like to call it, full contact medieval armored combat. So let me give you a quick background. The world of steel fighting, or full contact medieval armored combat as we know it today in the US, started in 2011 when some folks found out about the Battle of the Nations. And so we built up a team, 29 of us went and fought there, and our support staff helped us, and we were a big happy family. It was founded by this guy named James, but the next year James was no longer running it, and three people, Jaye and Anrdre and Brad, were running this new organization, and we were called, it was the Armored Combat League, and our international team was the USA Knights, and you may recognize my name among them because I was in that first year, and I make a lot of videos. The following year, the first year was Warsaw, the next year we went to Egg-Mort for our second Battle of the Nations, and we had a bigger team, and we did a lot better, but there were some disagreements between our team and a bunch of other folks as to how the event was being run and the way the rules were being interpreted by the folks who run the Battle of the Nations. So something like 15 nations got together and formed a thing called the International Medieval Combat Federation, and the ACL USA Knights went with them. Meanwhile, a half dozen or so other Americans formed their own team, and they went to Battle of the Nations the following year, while we went to the first IMCF World Championships in Belmonte, Spain. And that's where that opening tournament was shot in the movie El Cid. And if you've not seen El Cid, that's your homework assignment. Go watch it, press pause here, come back, I'll wait. So after we got back from Belmonte, however, there was some disagreements within the ACL about how the ACL was being run, how the USA Knights were being run. I don't want to get into all the details about that. That's because we don't have time. But in the end, one of the three partners, Brad, decided to leave the organization, and so Jaye and Anrdre became 50-50 partners in the Armored Combat League USA Knights. So the folks who wanted to changed themselves, and they left the team. They formed a whole nother team, joined up with the folks who had gone to Battle of the Nations, and they went to Battle of the Nations while the Armored Combat League kept on forming the USA Knights to go to IMCF World Championships. And it was like that for the next few years. Somewhere in there, some folks formed a thing called the American Medieval Combat Federation, and they were hoping for an opportunity to go to the IMCF World Championships. I'm not exactly sure how that played out or what they were doing, so I'm not going to get into details on it, but as of earlier this month, April 2019, there are basically two organizations. There was the Armored Combat League, which forms the Team USA Knights that goes to the IMCF World Championships, and there's an umbrella organization called the American Medieval Combat Federation, and I don't really know too much about them because I've been with the ACL all these years, although I do have many good friends who are on their side, and some people play both sides. Hey, no judgments. So, here's what happened. And now we get into the nitty-gritty stuff, the ugliness. Alright, so one day, Jay pops onto the group, the members-only group of the Armored Combat League, and I think he did the public one too, saying, well, it's been great, but Anrdre and I are going to part ways as business managers of this whole business here thing. And we'll let you know what's going on as time goes. So a couple of days later, Anrdre posts up and says, hey, so... Okay, they're locking me in here. Let's see how quickly I can get this done. So a couple of days later, Anrdre posts up and says, hey, I'm on vacation with the family. First I've heard of this. What's going on? So then he finds out a little bit. He starts posting up a thing or two. And so now, what was the new world of full contact medieval armored combat in New York City, in the United States, is the Armored Combat League Worldwide, run by Anrdre, the Armored Combat Sports, run by Jay, and the world of the American Medieval Combat Federation, and the folks who fight HMB. You can all look up these terms later on your own. Now, here's what I'm trying to make. This, on the one hand, tragedy, horror, ugliness, I accuse you, you accuse me, that's evil, that's wrong, he did this, she said that, check the letter, check the email. Oh, and I'm not going to get into that. We have a great opportunity now. By we, I mean those of us in the community, those of us who fight in this sport. We now have 3 places to go to do it. You can check up the rules and regulations of each of these little organizations. The organizations and their relationships with the teams within their organizations. Their relationships with independent clubs, if there are such a thing. Which international championship they go to. Their schedules of events. Most of them use most of the same rules, but you can still check out that. And with these 2 new organizations, Armored Combat Sports and Armored Combat League Worldwide, they're still writing their rules. So if there's something that you want to see in your rules, something that's important to you about how the fighting's done, the rules, the equipment, whatever you want, the way teams are made up, now's a great chance to contact the folks on these 2 organizations and be heard, because they haven't done anything yet, so nothing's written in stone. It's very exciting right now. Now, some of you may have personality issues with one person or another. That's great. If you have, then this is great, because if you got a personality issue with this guy, then you can go with that guy. If these people don't like you, maybe those people will. This is what capitalism is all about. Choice and opportunity. All right? One big happy family was great, but if you don't fit into the family, and like that recent Shazam movie, family's great, and the best family is not necessarily the one that you were born with. So hey, join the appropriate Facebook groups, read up what they have to say, ask questions, have fun, train hard, fight easy. Fight hard too. All right, this is Captain Zorikh coming at you. Thanks.
Że jeżeli po prostu stracił okulary, fighters from the Mexico first.
We did what we came here to do.
Ze Stanów Zjednoczonych. Za chwilę...
There's no amount of pain that you can put in front of me that would make it work. Working! Working!
Pierwsze, jednoręczne rozdział łatwiej. Ręce, żeby upadnie, nie może się podnieść.
The rules of a melee are very simple. One team has to get the entire other team on the ground, or to make them quit. You get pain compliance sometimes. Most of the guys who do this are tough enough that they're not going to quit until they're on the ground. So keep them down in the dirt, kick their feet out, pick them up and throw them, whatever it takes. The fight's not over until one team is completely